this thing on before the green light. Oh, it's a long red light. Okay. Good morning. It's 10:40 a.m. on the 29th of September. That would make it a... Fuck, what day of the week is it? It's Monday. Okay, it's Monday. Wow. And I'm curious, oh, screen, okay. I'm curious what means, hey, Stinky Finky, the quote, stoner, end quote, ripped you a new one last night. The stoner? Is that the angry victim, angry virgin, angry schoolgirl? Stoner. Hell, I don't know who that is. Sorry, angry virgin, if that was you, I missed it. Although you see me on YouTube a lot on this vacation, most of when you see me, I'm in a car or walking. I'm not really sitting down in front of YouTube that much. So, angry virgin, if you're the stoner, I'll get back to you, middle of the week when I'm back in Virginia and I'm back to my normal routine. Right now, the priority is family and personal time for me. I'm still dabbling on the YouTube a little bit, but not enough that people like the angry virgin are really going to get much of or any of my time. Unless I'm driving, I'm multitasking. So, yeah, this time's not dedicated to you, angry virgin. This time is dedicated to me getting from A to B. And hey, I can multitask sometimes. Hey, look, today I'm not holding the phone. I got it mounted because the one I usually use to navigate is well, anyway, okay. So there's been a lot of YouTube drama since my trip up here, starting with a big court case for generally specific and for public safety, and I applied my prayers and thoughts to that situation. God's will, not GS's will, not for public safety will, not Frankel's will, but God's will be done. And for public safety, didn't like that. No. We don't want God's will. In fact, he literally reacted to, I prayed for God's will, to, you're praying the wrong way. I'm sorry, I'm at a point in my life where I don't pray to win the lottery. I don't pray to get me out of situations that I got myself into or situations that others got me into. I try to pray for God's will. And if I go beyond just God's will, if I pray for another person, I add, if it be thy will. Okay. So that kind of sprouted off, if I had more time, some YouTube back and forth, and I don't know who the stoner is. Maybe the stoner is Stone Vet. That would make sense, except that Stone Vet and I haven't exchanged in quite a long time. I'll bet he doesn't even remember I exist. So why would the Stone Vet rip me a new one? I don't know. Well, anybody follows the channel that I'm posting this to knows the history, knows the chronological order. Yeah, Chris is, for public safety, it's pissed off at me because I'm being cordial, and when I see things that GS does right, yeah, I'm seeing things GS's way. GS turns out to not be a bad guy. He's a pretty decent guy. Yeah, we disagree on a lot of shit. He leans right, I lean left. But we both are able to catch the middle there. In fact, I think I read a comment. Welcome to the hell of fair, or something like that. This trip, all my free time when I'm not driving, when I'm not actually with family or doing my thing, not much time for the YouTube. So you're catching me like this. I'm in between the stuff that I came here to do. The only thing that was really worth it, and quite frankly, going into it, I was questioning whether it was worth it. It turned out to be worth it because it was, I don't know, spiritual awakening, not awakening. it was a God moment. Speaking of God moments, okay, it's in my pocket. All right. It was a God moment. I don't know if you guys followed. I'm up here in New York for family. I'm up here in New York for me, not for YouTube. Wrong one. And excuse me while I get this out. Excuse me while I whip this out. GS suggested I go to a pizza place on the other end of the state. Well, I'm in the middle of the state. On one end of the state, and do a mukbang. It was something special to him from his past, so I agreed. Well, initially I'm like, oh, that's too far away. And I looked at a map. I confused it for one of the places that Bill Wilson's associated to. There's this childhood home, which is not far from where I did the mukbang. There's where him and Lois lived out their days. That's called Stepping Stones. I didn't realize it, and it's 3 hours to the south. And there's a place in Brooklyn, New York. And there's also the Akron, Ohio stuff. That's more related to Dr. Bob Smith. Well, when GS was doing his show and suggesting I mukbang, it's like, too far for that one thing. And then I found that Bill's childhood home was about 30, 40 minutes further. I'm like, well, for the two things, the trip's worth it. Family, I'm taking a day off from family, and I'm going to drive out to see Bill's place, and I'm going to do a mukbang. Foresight, missed foresight, and hindsight is kind of an amazing trip. The next morning when I put into Waze Bill W's place, or I think I quickly did another Google search on it, plugged in the address, just a hard address, into Waze. Hold that thought. Do I have to insert? It says, okay, all right. Insert. Mirror Q. Speaking of YouTube, I remember when a sheriff officer thought that I First Amendment audited this place. I hadn't. At the time, I'd never heard of it. You guys can't make out the pin from that, can you? All right. Airing your transaction. Remind me where, oh yeah, the trip out east. Cash. Checking. That checking. Remember, trip out east, eastern New York. 50s, yeah. Yeah, I'll take a receipt. Doobie, trip out east. Don't forget trip out east. I'm talking about trip out east. Yes, I'll pay an absurd $3 for this transaction, plus whatever my bank charges me. Remove card. Card is removed. Yeah, I can follow instructions. All right. Please wait. I want it. I want it now. All right. There it is. Okay. Do I get a receipt? There, receipt. Woohoo! All right. Ooh. There we go. 51, 52, 53, 50. I hate when they're brand new and they stick together. 50, 150. Ooh, two of them sticking together. Nope, that's one. I'll draw my bill. Okay. 250. 3. 350. 4. 55. Yay! All right. Trip out east, right? Okay. I got money. I don't use a lot of cash these days, but here we go. Okay. Okay, yeah, Foresight It took me 3 hours to get to Stepping Stones. And I'm like, okay, how much time do I have before I have to be at the mukbang, which I had originally scheduled for, I think, 4 o'clock. So I did the Waze map to the pizza place, and it was 3 hours from there. I'm like, holy shit, I thought it was like 30, 40 minutes. What the hell? All right, so I alerted my audiences that I'm still going to do the mukbang, but I'm going to do it probably closer to 6 o'clock because I had to check the place out. Well, in that moment, I thought I made a huge mistake and this was not going to be worth it. However, the tour was very spiritually uplifting, some awakenings. It was really, really wonderful. If I discovered it was 3 hours there, 3 hours north, 3 hours back before I left, I wouldn't have left. But now that I know what I know, the trip was very much worth it, and got what I needed out of Stepping Stones, and then made the trip up north to the pizza place. Pizza place. And I figured, as I'm driving north, I'm thinking, I don't really want to do this. And I thought, you know what, GS is a good guy. I committed, and he's worth keeping your commitments to. GS is worth keeping his commitments to. That's going to piss off some people in my circle. Yeah, he's a pretty decent guy. Sorry. I know, we all had a mental image of this guy that we've never met. Partially based on some of the things, the way he articulated, and some of it on just constant bullshit being put out about him. And we just kind of, if Stone Vet says it, and Jeffrey says it, and Chris says it, and this person says it, and that person says it, it must be true. What are we looking at? Maybe the better part of 2 years? We now know that GS never said he was a Marine Corps veteran. How long did we all go thinking he claims a Marine Corps veteran? No, he wasn't. Okay. Turns out he's a pretty decent guy. And turns out when I think he's a pretty decent guy, who we disagree on a lot of stuff, especially ideologically, it pisses off Chris. The shit that's come out of Chris's mouth since then, and even just a little bit before that, has, let me be clear about this, further degraded his credibility in a lot of our eyes. His credibility has been less than perfect for a while now. I've lost track of how many times Chris told me, in the next 24 hours, FBI agent's going to call you about Michael Kaiser. Or he's going to call you about JJ Scarborough. Or in the next 24 hours, the FBI is going to pick up Michael Kaiser or JJ Scarborough. And as those 24 hours kept repeating and never happening, I'm aware that Chris is very capable of being wrong, being full of shit, lying. But I still agree with him ideologically, and I still agree with some of the issues that he's going through with some of these people. I think I articulated, and kind of funny, a fellow named G.E. Swag, he almost caught me. Well, I'm kind of like, whoa. A guy in his circle, GS, who turns out to be a pretty decent guy, had nothing to do with a quick a video I did about, who was it? Oh, it was that Ruff guy. I made a comment about, Ruff had got a copy of the video of, for public safety calling me. He said some really stupid shit. And I did a quickie calling him out on just a little bit of stupid shit I heard out of him. Oh shit! Okay, maybe Chris Ruff is the stoner who ripped me a new one last night. I don't know. All right, whether it's the Angry Vet, Stone Vet, or Chris Ruff, no vet, whichever stoner you're talking about, rip me a new one. I'll probably get to it Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. Okay, mate. Yeah, stoner. Okay, mate. I think I called him a stoner very recently. Okay, well, whatever. The Angry Vet is very low on my priorities list for this trip. And even lower than the Angry Vet would be Christopher Ruff. And just somebody just completely out of my thought process in the last several months would be Stone Vet. What stoner are they talking about? I don't know. Okay, but I digress. Michael Kaiser. No, he didn't invent that. He claims to have invented I digress, but he didn't. Okay, so G.E. Swag, he puts in the comments something about the entire video was free of any facts, and I listed some facts that I would think he would agree with. But it was completely fact-free. It was 100% fact-free. If I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly how he put it. And so I did a quick video talking about how for some of these morons, it's everything or nothing. In fact, I think that's the video that GS commented, "Welcome to the hell of fairness." Yeah, people are so divided. You got to be so team for public safety or team, in this case, generally specific. If you have one little item of agreement with the other side, it's 100%. You're 100% wrong. Okay, I think I signed off with, yeah, fuck you, G.E. Swag. And for a moment there I thought, well, shit, G.E. Swag is often on panel with Generally Specific. No, I'm not going to be like that. Generally Specific is a pretty cool guy. G.E. Swag is a fucking moron. Just because one's on the other's panel does not make them both fucking morons. G.E. Swag, you stand alone on that panel as being a fucking moron. Sorry, man. No. Sorry's a figure of speech. I'm not sorry. Ah, shit. Yeah. What else have we, what else can I waste time on while I'm driving? Since I'm not doing anything else. Alright, Justin Muxter. Hey buddy, how you doing? Are you watching? I don't know. Because I'm actually recording this at 10:58 a.m. and I have no idea when I'll post it, depending on Wi-Fi and cell service. Consistently. I mean, he disagrees with my agreement with Generally Specific on some issues, and he agrees with me on others. Consistently, I did see your short, I think it was a short, where you were reminding people the same message that I'm telling people. You don't have to be in one camp or the other. I think something we kind of learned together when what's her name, Izzy, when Jeff kind of threw Izzy under the bus, because we saw that as a combined team, and Jeff threw Izzy under the bus, and hindsight says, yeah, Izzy was, you all know what Izzy was. We were like, how can you throw a team member under the bus like that? And we kind of went after Jeff about throwing a team member under the bus. Actually, Muxter had the concept of you don't have to be one camp or the other all along. People are getting you either for First Amendment auditing or against First Amendment auditing. And you know, First Amendment auditing or things in that style is so vast in variety. How can you put 1A auditors in one group? They're all frauditors, they're all lefters, they're all righties. No, each individual brings his own style in politics and ideology to the idea that I can film in public. I can gauge reactions while I'm filming in public. I call it a social experiment. Sometimes I use the term First Amendment auditor colloquially. Kirkland, Verona. I think I'd made this trip enough that I wouldn't need a navigator. I'm confused. That's not my stomping grounds. My stomping grounds for the last 27 years have been Fairfax County, Alexandria, D.C., Tannery Road. All right. Shout out to Justin Muxer for being the most consistent. I don't have to take somebody's side 100% or oppose somebody's side 100%. I can have individual thoughts on individual activities, individual things that person said. In fact, in one panel on my channels, at separate times, we had for public safety and we had generally specific. And for Muxer has some pretty strong feelings about stuff each of them have said or done. But I think he was very evenly minded and fair-handed. We let him moderate the panel. I kept my hands off the controls. How I couldn't make the controls on the little iPhone. I'm trying to bring a computer up here. So, one, because I couldn't, and two, because I thought it was just fair of a third party moderated. I thought just Muxer did a wonderful job at keeping neutral, even though he has strong opinions about what each of those characters have said in the past. Good job, Muxer. Vernon Downs. That's where they have the horse races. Not that I follow horse racing much. Oh, they really built this place up. Family, live music. Friday, Saturday night. Casino and hotel. Oh, there's two casinos in the area. One is the Turning Stone in Vernon, which is about halfway between Rome and Oneida on 365. And the other is... oh shit, Finkel's Lost. Vernon Center. I'm not lost, I'm not exactly on the route I thought I was going to be. That's what happens when you talk and drive at the same time. And that's why, you know, when Chris called me on the way up here, I really couldn't remember exactly what was said because I'm driving. I'm paying attention to the safety of the road. Pettibone Farm. Hello, Pettibone Farm. Little farm stand. To be fair, what was I saying? Yeah, I was, you know, primarily doing 60, 65 miles an hour, focused on keeping it between the lines and within the speed limit, and, you know, negotiating traffic around me. And here's Chris, blah, 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 you're doing everything against me. You're hurting Tiffany. Well, you guys, I'm sure if you're watching this far into it, you're familiar with the bullshit. Yeah, G Swag, I can call Chris out on bullshit. It's not 100% one way or the other. I said, pay attention, Junior. Yeah. AIDS. Who else can we talk about? Okay, I got generally specific GE Swag. An unidentified either Stone Vet, the Angry Veteran, or possibly Christopher Ruff. I don't know. Covered him the other day, yesterday. Covered him recently. Knock him. I don't really want to say fuck Stone Vet. I really don't have any experience with him in the last few months. Junction 26, okay. This is where I want to be. Back on course. I confuse Vernon Center with Clinton. because of a similar Central Park. Oh, horsey. Hello, horsey. Amish or Mennonite? I don't know. At a glance, I don't know the difference between Amish and Mennonite, except they drive horse-drawn buggies. Oh, I wish I was doing this from the dash cam. I want to upload it before I get home, but the scenery out here is just friggin' awesome. And it's a beautiful day, and I'm 5 miles over the speed limit. Slow down. Slow down, you're moving too fast. You got to make the morning last. Just kicking down the cobblestone, looking for fun and feeling groovy. Da 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 da. Feeling groovy. Hello, lamppost, what you knowin'? I've come to watch your flowers growing. I'm probably off key. Ain't you got no rhyme for me? Yeah, I fucked it up. You don't carry a tune. Generally specific. I think he missed his calling. He should have been a professional singer. Speaking of missing your calling, yeah, there was something I articulated in that video that G.E. Swag reacted to, like a child. He is a child. G.E. Swag is a child. That was a reaction video to Christopher Ruff, who I believe he articulated that JJ saved the day. Here I come to save the day. My name is J&J, not Johnson and Johnson. There's a lot of farm stands out here. Red potatoes. Okay. He articulated that the hero, JJ, got pay raises for everyone, and they went from a non-living wage to a living wage. Kind of reminded me. I live in Northern Virginia, where the economy is booming. Even during the recession, the economy was booming. Because just in the right location for, even in the worst of times, the economy is, audience, booming. When you have a booming economy, incomes are higher, prices are higher. A loaf of bread costs more, rent costs more, mortgages cost more, land values are more, and of course, incomes are more. So I have it's probably 15, 20 years ago. It's before sobriety. I come up this way and I look up an old friend from high school, and I've heard that he's quite the drunk, and at the time I like to get my beer on, and so I call my buddy. I find his phone number, and I call him, and I reach voicemail. I'm like, hey, I'm in town, I'm at this number, give me a call back, we'll get together. Didn't respond, and I'm like remembering, yeah, I think when we parted ways back when I went active duty, we weren't too happy with each other, but we were buds all through junior high school and high school. And I'm like, did that one thing get to him? Oh my God, this is beautiful. So a couple days later, I called him again. Hey man, it's me. I don't know if you got my last voicemail. Actually, it was back then. It was recording because they had the tape machines. And back in those days, while you're leaving the voicemail, the people in the house can hear it. I said, I was just, I don't know, thought we could have a couple of beers together. You know what? I'm buying. And you hear, hello. Hi. You say something about buying beer? But turns out my buddy from high school was, at least back then, I don't know if he still is, quite the drunk. So we got together and I bought a 6-pack and we did our thing, caught up on old times. His wife was an LPN. The LPN in Rome, New York, was studying to become an RN. Now, I don't know nurses from nurses. CNA, LPN, RN, there's some others out there. Surgical nurse. When you say someone's a nurse, it registers with me. They help doctors. They take care of patients. I don't know. Licensed practical nurse. I don't know. I just know that these are needed people in the medical field, and there's always always jobs for them. There are, since the invention of nursing at any level, there have never been enough nurses to take care of the needs that are needed. And that includes when I hooked up with my high school buddy. She has job security. Are you following me? Now, I live in Northern Virginia. Rome, New York, our economy is not so good. Even in the best of times, not so good. In fact, it's more often than not that people are living on minimum wage. Whatever minimum wage is at the time for New York State, which is usually has to be higher than the federal minimum wage. I think, as long as I can remember, New York State was ahead on minimum wage than the federal government. So, we caught up, and I learned his wife is an LPN learning to be an RN, which I believe is a step up in nursing. And so, I get back to Northern Virginia, and we had exchanged emails, and he emails me one time, "Hey, my wife made RN. I'm curious, what do RNs make in your area?" I don't know. So I went to something called Glassdoor, and sure enough, the various nursing levels have various average salaries in various parts of the country. In Northern Virginia, at the time, I want to say it was close to the salary I was making at the time, which, let me think, 15 years ago, probably high 90s, maybe right, hovering just south of 100,000 a year. And when I told him that, he called me up and he wanted more information. Apparently, when she moved from being an LPN to an RN, the pay raise wasn't that great. In fact, she was making somewhere in the 50Ks. Now, keep in mind, 15 years ago, $50,000 in Rome, New York, anywhere in Oneida County, was good money. It was about as good money as $100,000 in Fairfax County, Virginia, in Washington, D.C. That's how drastically different the economies are. And from what I understand of Meade County, Kentucky, they're somewhere at or below the economic status of Rome, New York. On the Barge Canal, with a big air base. Well, now it's the county airport. Halfway between Utica and Syracuse, metropolitan, big cities. So, and what's Meade County out there in the middle of? I don't really know my Kentucky geography, but my point is, here you have a nurse at a jail for years. 4 years. She was the nurse before JJ got elected as the jailer, and it was enough. It was enough to keep her from going on to other nursing opportunities, which there are always plenty of nursing opportunities. Enter stage right, JJ Scarborough, who I don't know, did they start dating before or after? Don't know, don't really care. But Christopher Ruff made it sound like she went from a non-living wage to a living wage. Whatever the wage was, in that part of the country, it was enough to keep her there for years. Keep her there even if JJ had lost said election. Allegedly, JJ winning the election, becoming jailer, had nothing to do with this nurse being the nurse at the jailhouse. Well, the hero comes along and gets her a pay raise. Not just any pay raise. The highest paid county employee of Meade County, Kentucky. Who else does a county hire? Sheriffs? Law enforcement officers? Judges? County supervisors? a jailhouse nurse is getting paid more than anybody else on the county payroll. Fair? Unfair? I don't know. But that's a pretty significant pay raise. And he brought it up that I was all mad about the ethics committee. I really don't know about the ethics committee. I didn't really follow it. I don't really give a fuck. All I know is through documentation, we know that as of when we checked, Amber, the jailhouse nurse, was the highest paid county employee. That means if the county had a direct hire and the county cut a paycheck or did a direct deposit, whatever, nobody in the county, no judge, no sheriff, no fire worker, nobody got paid more than Amber. Do I care about that? Not really. Hey, we need nurses. And hell, I guess prisoners need nurses too. All right. What Johnny Come Lately was coming lately about was my opinion of JJ having nothing to do with no fucking ethics committee, and it even had very little to do with the urban legend, I don't know if it's a myth or fact, the idea of him emptying a complete magazine on a driver who allegedly rolled through a stop sign. Don't know if that's true or not. Don't really care. It's kind of a fun story. But apparently I'm a crackhead for even mentioning it. I'm a crackhead. Okay, I'm a crackhead. Okay. If you want to think I'm a crackhead. Trump. Fuck Trump. Okay. The campaign's over. Take that shit down. No, my involvement with JJ has nothing to do with the ethics committee. Has nothing to do with, well, hell, anything other than JJ pretended to be pressing charges on me, or joked about it, or maybe he really tried and the prosecutor said, I really don't know. But he doubled down on that for a long, long time. And I lawyered up locally, realizing that if it was true, I was going to have to lawyer up from the Kentucky bar. So yeah, JJ cost me a little money, in much the same way that for public safety costs GS money. Are y'all following? JJ costs me money in the same way that for public safety costs GS money. No, JJ didn't send me a bill. No, for public safety didn't send GS a bill. We caused a legal situation where we would hire lawyers. Lawyers aren't cheap. I don't know what a lawyer costs in Louisville, Kentucky, or anywhere in Kentucky, but they ain't cheap in Fairfax County, let me tell you. Well, they ain't cheap for public safety's income. They ain't cheap on Christopher Ruff's income. Yeah, okay. Christopher Ruff. Enough about that, jackwagon. But I'm a crackhead. And G Swag, my response to that is 100% false. My main channel, Finkel, not Shadow Finkel, but on Finkel, scroll back, not this past April, but the April before. That's over a year, well over a year ago. You'll see a community post, something along the lines of, I have DOJ documentation on JJ, blah, 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 and I list some allegations that the DOJ made, and suggested that the JJ was already found guilty of. That's what that whole charges thing was in reaction to. And therefore, looking back on it, it may have been a joke. I don't know. It wasn't convincing that it would go anywhere. It was convincing that they were serious, that they were going to try to get it to go somewhere. ain't no jury in the world going to convict on the charges alleged that JJ was trying to push. I was confident of that. We all laughed at that. Everybody on my panel when the news broke, what was her name? Maida. When Maida says, go watch Silent Wrangler right now. Okay. And here he's talking about Kentucky will extradite. And you read these 4 charges. The top one was some kind of conspiracy, the Kentucky version of RICO. Yeah, we had a good laugh about it. What wasn't so funny was, well, what if they're serious and they try? I can't very well to go to Kentucky without legal advice. All right, it cost me money. Do I really care about money? Obviously not. You guys have seen how I throw money around like a drunk sailor. Yeah, I'm not very good at money. Anyway, I don't want to bragging about that. Yeah. My issue with JJ has nothing to do with his politics, who he did hang out with, and murder. Has nothing to do with him having hung out with General Pacific. Actually, I haven't seen JJ on General Pacific for a while. Last time I saw JJ having anything to do with the General Pacific channel was he made a comment in the chat that he thought some recent videos I did in DC were, I can't remember how he put it, but it seemed like he was trying to compliment me. Oh, okay, thank you, I guess. Yeah, no. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's my issue with JJ. Not an ethics committee, not how much a nurse got paid, not who he's sleeping with, other than Fraud Wrangler. And I mean that in humor. I don't think they literally slept together. But like anybody else, JJ can be right on some things, wrong on some things. Hang out with murdering Mikey, the Fraud Wrangler. Hang out with GS, who's actually a pretty decent guy. And so, you can't just guilt somebody by their associations. The Fraud Wrangler is just one piece of it. GS is another piece of it. Doesn't mean he's all right and all wrong. It means Finkel has a personal feeling about JJ that has nothing to do with him being a jailer, being an elected official, having a girlfriend that works for him, having a girlfriend that he got a pay raise for, or what any ethics committee thinks of him. It is not business, it's personal. That's all. Does that make me a crackhead? Okay, that's a good judgment from a stoner. Yeah, as I'm thinking about it, that stoner reference might be just rough. Yeah, okay. Whoever it is, I'll get to it. Not right now. Not till I'm back home in Virginia. Just not. The people I listed as suspects as the stoner, not that important. In fact, if I wasn't driving for an hour, I wouldn't even bother recording it. I know what girls want. I know what girls like. Who else can I ramble and dunk on without any notes or videos to go off of? Or compliment. Compliments, kudos to Killing Time, Passing Through, Ariel, and Muckster. Of course, I have a biased opinion. They're on my team. All good guys. Getting very creative with their content. All right. Clearly not where I thought I was. Babbitt Avenue. All right. Let's get to it. Oh, more texts. Yeah, sorry, I don't give a fuck. Ever notice your phones don't make pinging noises when you're driving? Waze. Where are you? 17 minutes by best route. All right. I made a wrong turn somewhere. Here we go. All right. I'm gonna turn right up here. Waterville. Oh, I'm in Waterville. Not Watertown, Waterville. If I was in Watertown, I'd be near Fort Drum. Alright. Turn left on White Street. Doobie-doobie-doo. Oh yeah, the content. Muckster and Aereo, and they blame Killing Time, getting pretty creative with their AI skills. I know ChatGPT. I know what I asked ChatGPT for questions. That's about how advanced I am with AI. Now these guys are getting pretty clever. Check out Muckster's video on, well, the video's on horses, but the song is, well, you can figure it out. Even though names aren't named, accurate names aren't named. Y'all know what he's talking about. Aereo did a good dunk on me. Yeah, he's got like that. He can dunk on me. Killing Time has a similar name as Killa Manila. Pretty cool guy. Quite often you'll see him on General Specifics panels. Please don't confuse him for that idiot GE Swag. Two completely different personalities on the same panel. So yeah, a panel can be good and bad at the same time. Why is she taking me in circles? Why, yes you are. Alright. Killamilla. I think he also gets the I'm talking on this phone. He also gets that no one person is all right and all bad. Because, you know, when GS and I were really going at it, he was keeping it neutral for himself. Finkel's got some good stuff to say. GS has got some good stuff to say. Finkel was wrong about this. GS was wrong about that. He takes an honest look at situations, and I believe he opines honestly. Even if he makes mistakes, he's opining honestly. And I dig that. Whether you're right or wrong, be honest with your feelings. Be honest with your hypothesis. Some people aren't either really stupid like GE Swag, or just being dishonest in their extreme explanation. Yeah. Salute to Killamilla. Salute to Killing Time passing through. Aereo, Just Muckster, GS, which are completely different from the morons, GE Swag, the Angry Veteran, Senior Hefe, as we like to call him, or Jeffrey Appleby. I don't know if they're dishonest with their with the ideas they come up with, or if they're really so stupid they come up with these ideas. Probably a little bit of both. All right, US 20. Okay. I think I can take it from US 20. All right. Probably the second most boring video I've ever posted is this one. And yes, now I know exactly where I'm at. I'm going to push stop, and who knows? It's 11:30 a.m. on Monday. Depending on cell signals and Wi-Fi's, who knows when I get up there. Cheerio, motherfuckers, bitches, and yeah, cheerio everyone. Hope you're having a fantabulous day.